Dad, what are you doing? Get away from him. Teaching him discipline, something you clearly failed to do. He's 7 years old. You're making him kneel on rice? He needs to learn that losing is unacceptable. Now get out of my way. I'm calling the police. This is abuse. My father made my son kneel on rice for hours because he lost at Little League. Hi, I'm Jet. Today I'm going to tell you my story. But before I continue, please like, share, and subscribe to hear more stories like this. I thought I'd escaped my father's shadow when I moved from Boston to Portland 15 years ago. Maverick Hollis was a legend in our old neighborhood. High school football star, successful real estate developer, the kind of man who commanded respect through fear. Growing up, I learned that nothing was ever good enough. Second place was first loser. Mistakes were character flaws. Weakness was unforgivable. I spent my childhood trying to earn his approval and my adulthood learning to live without it. I married my wife Celestine when I was 25, and we had our son Indy 3 years later. I swore I'd be different. I'd be patient, encouraging, supportive, everything my father wasn't. For 7 years, it worked. Indy was a happy kid, curious, energetic, always laughing. Celestine and I built a good life. I worked as a civil engineer, she taught elementary school, and we lived in a modest house in a nice neighborhood with good schools. Then my mother, Sonnet, got sick. Pancreatic cancer, stage 4. She had maybe 6 months. My father called me for the first time in 3 years. Your mother wants to see you. And her grandson. Dad, I don't think... She's dying, Jet. Whatever issues you have with me, put them aside for her. He was right. I flew back to Boston with Celestine and Indy. My mother looked so small in her hospital bed, nothing like the woman who'd raised me. She held Indy's hand and cried, He's beautiful, Jet. You did good. Thanks, Mom. She looked at my father, then back at me. Promise me you'll let him be part of Indy's life. Family is important. Mom, promise me. I promised. It was a mistake. My mother died 3 weeks later. At the funeral, my father barely spoke to anyone. He just stood there, stone-faced, accepting condolences like they were business cards. But when he looked at Indy, something shifted in his expression. The boy needs a strong male influence, he said to me after the service. He has one, me. You're too soft on him, just like your mother was too soft on you. Dad, don't start. I'm not starting anything. I'm stating facts. But I'll respect your boundaries, for now. A month later, my father showed up in Portland. No warning, no phone call, just knocked on our door on a Saturday morning. What are you doing here? I sold the house in Boston. Too many memories. I'm moving closer to family. How close? I bought a condo downtown, 20 minutes away. Celestine squeezed my hand, sensing my panic. Maverick, that's quite a surprise. Life's full of surprises. Where's my grandson? Indy was playing in the backyard. When he saw my father, he ran over excitedly. Kids don't understand complicated family dynamics. They just see grandparents. Grandpa. My father's face softened, the only time I ever saw that expression. Hello, Indy, you're getting big. I'm 7.5 now. Do you want to see my baseball cards? You play baseball? Little League, my team is the Tigers. We're pretty good. My father looked at me. Why didn't you tell me he played sports? It didn't come up. When's your next game, Indy? Tomorrow at 2? I'll be there. Celestine tried to smooth things over. Maverick, you're welcome to come. It's just recreational league. The kids are learning, having fun. Fun, my father repeated, like the word tasted bitter. The next day, he showed up at the field wearing expensive sunglasses and a scowl. He sat in the bleachers, watching every play with the intensity of a scout evaluating prospects. Indy's team lost 7-4. Indy went 1 for 3 at the plate, made a good catch in right field, and seemed happy despite the loss. In the parking lot afterward, my father cornered me. The boy needs work. He's 7, Dad. He's doing fine. He's doing mediocre. That's not fine. He struck out twice. And he got a hit once and made a catch and had fun. Fun doesn't build character. Discipline builds character. We're not having this conversation. But we kept having it. My father started showing up at every game, every practice. He'd critique Indy's swing, his stance, his throwing motion. At first, Indy tried to please him, working harder to earn praise that never came. Grandpa, did you see? I got 2 hits today. I saw you miss 3. We need to work on your eye. Indy's smile faded a little each week. Celestine noticed it too. Jet, your father is ruining baseball for him. Indy used to love practice. Now he asks if Grandpa's going to be there. I'll talk to him. I tried. We met for coffee downtown, and I laid it out clearly. Dad, you need to back off. Indy's losing his love for the game because you're constantly criticizing him. I'm making him better. You're making him anxious. He's 7 years old. This is supposed to be fun. You know what your problem is, Jet? You're raising him to be weak, just like you were weak. I'm raising him to be happy. There's a difference. Happy doesn't win. Happy doesn't succeed. You think I got where I am by being happy? Where are you, Dad? Alone in a condo with your wife dead and your son who can barely stand to be around you? He stood up, threw money on the table. When that boy fails in life because you didn't push him hard enough, remember this conversation. Things escalated from there. My father started training Indy without asking permission. He'd show up at our house, take Indy to the batting cages, work him for hours. Indy would come home exhausted and quiet. How was practice with Grandpa? I'd ask. Okay, he'd say, not meeting my eyes. Celestine confronted my father directly. Maverick, Jet and I appreciate your interest in Indy, but we need you to check with us before taking him anywhere. I'm his grandfather. I don't need permission to spend time with him. Actually, you do. He's our son. And he's my grandson, my blood. I have rights. Rights? Celestine's voice rose. You have the privilege we grant you. Keep pushing, and you'll lose that. My father smiled coldly. Try keeping me from that boy. See what happens. I should have cut him off then, but I kept thinking about my mother's deathbed request. Family is important, so I set boundaries instead. My father could attend games, but not practices. He could visit our house, but not take Indy anywhere alone. No unsupervised time. He agreed. Then he violated every boundary immediately. The breaking point came during championship week. Indy's team had made it to the finals, a huge accomplishment for 7-year-olds. They were playing the undefeated Sharks, and everyone knew it would be tough. My father called me the night before. I'm coming to pick up Indy at 9 a.m. We're going to practice. No, Dad. He needs rest before the big game. He needs preparation. I've identified 3 weaknesses in his swing. He's not a professional athlete. He's a little kid playing a game. With that attitude, he'll stay a little kid playing games. I'll be there at 9. Don't bother. We won't answer the door. He hung up on me. The championship game was intense. The Sharks were good, really good. By the 5th inning, we were down 6-2. Indy had struck out twice and missed a fly ball that led to 2 runs. I could see the frustration on his face, but I kept cheering him on. It's okay, buddy. You'll get the next one. My father sat in the bleachers, silent and furious. We lost 8-3. The kids were disappointed, but resilient. The coach gave a speech about good sportsmanship and trying their best. The team got second-place trophies. Indy held his and tried to smile, but I saw him glance at my father's dark expression. Great game, Indy, I said, hugging him. You guys played so hard. We lost. But you made it to the finals. That's amazing. Celestine hugged him, too. We're so proud of you, sweetie. My father didn't say anything. He just walked to his car and left. I felt relieved. That evening, Celestine had a work dinner she couldn't miss, parent-teacher conferences at her school. I was home with Indy, making pizza and watching a movie, trying to cheer him up. At 7 p.m., someone knocked on the door. It was my father. What do you want, Dad? To talk to my grandson. Now's not a good time. I wasn't asking. He pushed past me into the house. Dad, get out! Indy came into the hallway. Grandpa? My father's expression was hard. Get your shoes on. We're going to discuss today's game. No, you're not. I stepped between them. Leave. Now. Jet, this is exactly why he lost today. You coddle him. You make excuses. He needs to learn that his performance was unacceptable. He's 7. He doesn't need to learn anything except that we love him whether he wins or loses. That's weak parenting. Then I'm weak. Get out of my house. My father looked at Indy. Your dad is making excuses for you again. Is that what you want? To be a loser who makes excuses? Indy's eyes filled with tears. I tried my best, Grandpa. Your best wasn't good enough. I grabbed my father's arm. Leave, now, or I'm calling the police. He shook me off and walked toward Indy. Before I could react, he'd grabbed Indy's arm and was pulling him toward the kitchen. Dad, what are you doing? He didn't answer. He opened our pantry, pulled out a bag of uncooked rice, and poured it on the kitchen floor. Then he forced Indy to his knees on top of it. Dad, what are you doing? Get away from him! Teaching him discipline, something you clearly failed to do. He's 7 years old. You're making him kneel on rice? He needs to learn that losing is unacceptable. Now get out of my way. I'm calling the police. This is abuse. I pulled out my phone, but my father grabbed it from my hand and threw it across the room. Then he shoved me hard. I stumbled backward, hitting the wall. Indy was crying now, on his knees, the rice digging into his skin. Daddy, it hurts. It's supposed to hurt, my father said. Pain teaches lessons that words can't. I got up and tried to pull Indy away, but my father blocked me. He was bigger than me, stronger. In that moment, I saw the monster I'd spent my childhood fearing. You kneel there for 1 hour, my father told Indy. Think about your mistakes. Think about how you failed your team. Dad, he's a child. He's my grandson, and I won't let him turn out weak like you. That's when our neighbor Bristol knocked on the door. She'd heard the commotion. Jet, everything okay? My father tensed. I used the distraction to rush past him, grab Indy, and pull him off the rice. His little knees were red and indented, already showing marks. I yanked the door open. Bristol, call 911, now! My father tried to grab Indy again, but Bristol's husband Vale appeared. He was ex-military, built like a truck. Sir, I think you need to leave. This is family business. This is child abuse. Leave, or I'll make you leave. My father looked at me, at Indy sobbing in my arms, at Vale blocking his path. Finally, he walked to the door. You're making a mistake, Jet. You're raising him to fail. Get out. He left. The police arrived 10 minutes later. I showed them Indy's knees, told them everything. They took photos, filed a report, and helped me get an emergency restraining order. Celestine came home to find Indy in the bath, still crying, his knees bruised and bleeding. She took one look and knew. Where is he? Gone. Restraining order is in place. She held Indy for an hour, just rocking him. Baby, you did nothing wrong. Nothing. Your grandpa is sick. What he did was wrong. I should have hit the ball, Indy whispered. No, this has nothing to do with baseball. Nothing. The next few weeks were brutal. My father hired a lawyer and fought the restraining order, claiming I was alienating him from his grandson. His lawyer painted me as vindictive, using a simple disciplinary moment to cut off a grieving widower from his family. Kneeling on rice is a traditional discipline method in many cultures, his lawyer argued. Mr. Hollis was simply trying to instill work ethic. Our lawyer, a woman named Arden Pierce, destroyed that argument. Traditional in Mr. Hollis's culture? He's third-generation Irish-American from South Boston. This isn't cultural. It's abuse. And the child's injuries prove it. She presented photos of Indy's knees, medical records, and testimony from our pediatrician about the physical and psychological harm. The judge extended the restraining order for 1 year. My father wasn't allowed within 500 feet of Indy, our home, or Indy's school, but the damage was done. Indy quit baseball. He said he didn't like it anymore, but I knew the truth. Every time he stepped on a field, he remembered that day. Celestine found him crying in his room one night. What's wrong, sweetie? I can't stop thinking about Grandpa, about what he said, that I'm weak. You're not weak. You're the strongest kid I know. But I lost the game. I let everyone down. No, baby, Grandpa let you down. You did great. You always do great just by being you. We started therapy. Dr. Linnea Moss specialized in childhood trauma. She worked with Indy twice a week, helping him process what happened. Children internalize their abusers' messages, she told us. Indy believes he deserved punishment because he failed. That's what we need to address. It took months. Slowly, Indy started smiling again. He joined soccer instead of baseball. Something new, something without painful memories. He loved it. But my father wasn't done. He started showing up places he technically could. The grocery store when we were shopping, restaurants where we ate dinner, the park where Indy played. Never close enough to violate the restraining order, but close enough to be seen. He's stalking us, Celestine said. I know. We documented everything. every sighting, every time we felt unsafe. Arden helped us file for an extension and expansion of the restraining order. At the hearing, my father played the victim. I'm an old man who lost his wife. I'm alone. My son has poisoned my grandson against me over a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? The judge said. You forced a child to kneel on rice for hours. You physically prevented his father from helping him. This isn't a misunderstanding, Mr. Hollis. This is assault and child abuse. The restraining order was extended to 5 years and expanded to include our workplace and Indy's school. My father's lawyer tried to argue for supervised visitation. My client deserves a relationship with his grandson. Arden stood up. Does he? Children don't owe their abusers access. Mr. Hollis has shown no remorse, no acknowledgement of wrongdoing, and no willingness to change. Allowing him near Indy would be dangerous. The judge agreed. No contact, no visitation, no exceptions. My father's face went purple with rage. You're stealing my grandson? No, Mr. Hollis, the judge said. You lost him when you chose cruelty over love. This hearing is over. We left the courthouse relieved but exhausted. Indy had been staying with Celestine's parents during all of this, shielded from the legal battle. When we picked him up, he asked the question I'd been dreading. Is Grandpa going to hurt me again? No, buddy. Never again, I promise. But what if he finds me? He won't, and if he tries, there are rules in place to stop him. Did I do something bad? Is that why he's mad? Celestine knelt down to his level. You did nothing wrong. Grandpa is the one who made bad choices. This is not your fault. Life slowly returned to normal. Indy thrived in soccer. He made new friends, got his confidence back. The nightmares stopped after about a year, but my father didn't disappear. He started sending letters. To our house, to my work, to Celestine's school. They were always the same. I was ruining Indy. I was weak. I was failing as a father. He knew better. He always knew better. We stopped reading them, just collected them as evidence in case we ever needed them. Then one day, Bristol came over with news. Jet, I saw your father at the coffee shop. He was with a young boy, maybe 8 or 9. Different kid, not Indy. My blood ran cold. What? He was training him, hitting drills in the parking lot. The kid looked miserable. I called Arden immediately. He's found another victim. We can report it to CPS, but without proof of abuse, there's not much they can do. So we just let it happen. Document what you saw. If he hurts that child, there will be a record of his pattern. I felt sick, but I also felt helpless. I couldn't save every kid from my father. 2 months later, Bristol saw him again. This time, the boy was crying and my father was screaming at him in public. She called the police. They investigated and discovered the boy was the son of a woman my father had started dating, a single mother named Clarity, desperate for help with her difficult child. CPS interviewed the boy. He described similar treatment, kneeling punishments, verbal abuse, constant criticism. They removed him from my father's influence and helped Clarity get her own restraining order. My son gets it. At 12, he understands that some bridges burn completely, that forgiveness isn't required, that protecting yourself matters more than giving someone another chance to hurt you. That's the difference between my father's parenting and mine. I taught my son that he matters, that his feelings matter, that he deserves love without conditions. My father taught me that nothing was ever good enough. Indy learned the better lesson. If a family member abused your child and then claimed they changed years later, would you give them another chance or keep them away permanently?